Well, Kevin, there is a long list of candidates. 16 people are vying for 6 spots on City Council. What distinguishes you from the rest?
Anybody that knows me knows that I am a very different person. I'm persistent, I'm tenacious, I don't give up easily, and I think that those are qualities that as we're trying to change and help a city to grow are very important features. I've got a very diverse background, from mechanics to business to marketing, online marketing. I've got sales at Ulmer Chevrolet for 21 years in the sales force there, so I've got a lot of experience dealing with public and as well as business. And certainly mentoring under Ross Ulmer as one of the incredible businessmen in town, that helps me a lot.
And touching upon that change and that growth, what do you think the biggest issue is currently facing Lloydminster? And if you were elected in for a 4-year term, what would you do over those 4 years to actually change it?
The problem I have is that because I have never been on council before, there's going to be a certain amount of growing. So to be able to say, okay, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to do this, this, and this, I think shows a naivety of what you're doing. Here's what I can promise. I'm going to go in there with the things that are concerns to me, and I'm going to do my best to move those forward. Now, as we just heard the other day here, a couple of people getting shot just right on the edge of town. Wow. I mean, the crime is in our backyard, and that is something that's very concerning to me. Another thing that concerns me is the seniors and the cost of health care, and even just to live in a place that has a facility so that there's a nurse there to give them medicine and that. I certainly would like to see something that is a cooperative, maybe working with churches and nonprofit organizations so that it's not going to cost a lot to be able to come in, that would have the seniors stay in their apartments until they're absolutely have to go into, terminal care or something like that. But it has a nurse on staff so that they don't have to go out, and it would minimize cost as well.
So what steps would you take to actually push that change over 4 years? Because that is quite a lengthy time.
Again, coming back to the fact that I haven't ever been in council before, I have to get there and I have to see what I have to do in that parameters. But having people skills helps you a lot. As far as I understand, I just have to show my fellow councillors and the mayor the advantages for the city in doing it, and then we can get them to help push it along.
And speaking about the mayor, what are your thoughts on Mayor Jeff Mulligan being acclaimed for his 2nd term?
I think that we had the National Hockey Day in Canada here. I think he has done some wonderful things for our city. I think it's also a time to get a more diverse representation across our councillors so that we can fairly represent all of the needs of our upcoming thing. I think that's our biggest thing. We've got some big issues coming up at us. I hear rumors of casinos again. We talk about the adult entertainment issue. And even that, my wish would be that I could talk them into, before I'm even a councillor, having a public vote on the same day as we have our elections. What a great idea. Costs the city absolutely nothing, and each person in this city can represent themselves. And then we as council know which way our city wants us to go. And then we should defend that until we die.
And you were touching upon the fact that you will be newly elected if you are successful in this upcoming election. What do you know about the way council works?
Well, I know that there is an awful lot of reading, and it all comes up to the bylaws and first reading, second reading, third reading. But it's like anything. If you take any job trying to read about it and know if you can do it or not, it usually does very little to prepare you for your first day of work. I've got the advantage that I'm friends with Karen Ast, who was a councillor before. I'm friends with Alan Park, who is just stepping down from his term, as well as almost all of the councillors on that have bought cars from me, so I don't think I'll have any problem having somebody take me under their wing and be able to help me go through and become very successful at trying to influence our city to help with growth, to help with strong families.
Have you ever attended a city council meeting, or do you plan on going?
You know, I never have. It's something that when you actually have a heart or a calling for politics, the most frustrating thing would be to see decisions that are not moving possibly to the very best of every citizen in the town. And so I always try to avoid that. When it's like sports, I don't go and watch sports. I love sports. I'll go and play in anything, but I don't go and watch them. I'm a participant. I am not a viewer.
Anything else you'd like to add on what you think you could bring to municipal politics?
Well, I certainly have a very different way of looking at things, and so I'll quite often come up with solutions that nobody else has thought of. That, I think, is irreplaceable. Because I come from such a different angle. So now we throw that onto the table, we can talk it through and come up with the best decision, having a lot more alternatives put on the table in the beginning.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, Kevin. That is Kevin Ramsay running for a spot on Lloydminster City Council.